Good evening. This is the Columbia Chess Club News Network presenting Sean Miller, our Club Player of the Month.
Hello.
Sean, I'm going to ask you some questions.
All right. Fire away, James.
How did you get into chess?
So I learned how to play as far as like how like the pieces move, like the rules of the game, at a very early age. I think it was probably around 6. I started actually like caring about chess strategy in high school. I ended up founding my own chess club because there wasn't a club at our school, and I got to the point where I could beat the other students in my school, but didn't really have much competition left, so I didn't have much interest in improving beyond that. And then where I really got more serious about improving at chess would honestly be when I found your club over in Firefly back in, what was that, 2021, like right after COVID.
That sounds correct.
Yeah, and that's sort of been where chess has like really kind of taken off in my life.
All right, so you played it a little bit as a kid in school, you said around elementary school, and then kind of maybe dabbled in it here and there, and then until you started competing?
Yeah, just as I sort of got older, I got more interested in the idea of actually competing.
All right, that's pretty cool. We have a similar trajectory.
Mm-hmm.
What is your favorite thing about the Columbia Chess Club?
Favorite thing about the Columbia Chess Club, I think there's a lot to really like about the Columbia Chess Club. It definitely, to me, it has to be the community and just sort of like the general sort of attitude you guys have about the game and about like the people here. You're like very focused on trying to provide a space where people can improve, where like whatever kind of like the community is interested in, you guys try and like provide a kind of platform for it. And I just I really appreciate that.
Thank you, Sean. We do put a heavy emphasis on pampering the community, and I'm glad it's noticed.
It shows. I mean, this is probably one of the nicest playing halls in the entire Southeast.
Yep, yep. I'll agree. I toot my own horn a little bit. Do you have a favorite opening or chess style?
Favorite opening or favorite style? I feel like in the club, I'm probably best known for the Fantasy Caro-Kann. And generally, I tend to prefer playing as actively as possible. I enjoy games where I'm able to sort of like go on a borderline reckless offense. I also like enjoy other like kind of like more aggressive openings, like the Smith Mora, even like the Vienna. Anything that kind of gives me the opportunity to get into some like fighting lines.
Yeah, the last couple times I played the fantasy against you, I immediately knew I didn't want that smoke. I did not. I did not. I'll go head to head with your Vienna. I can handle that, but your fantasy is something else.
Yeah, well, Vienna's candidly not that good if the opponent's prepared for it.
Who is your favorite chess player, past or present, and why?
Favorite chess player, past or present? I guess in the past it's got to be Morphy, right? I mean, the guy was like such a genius of the game. I think that he's probably like the person who like of all the world champions, he was the most dominant against his field. And he just understood the game so much earlier than everyone else. It's fascinating to think about what he would be like if he actually had computer training and sort of the benefit of what we've gained from his games and other historical masters. As far as current players, actually Richard Rapport.
Interesting pick.
Yeah, no, every time I see one of his games, whether it's like Rapid Blitz or even in Classical, he's playing something He's playing something new. He's playing something dynamic. He's playing something combative. Very rarely you're going to see a boring game out of him.
I can see that from him, especially since Dean Loren chose him as his second, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
some of the games Sting played in there were very reflective of that style.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool. What's one thing you've learned from playing in tournaments?
One thing I've learned from playing in tournaments. I mean, I think it's just like very interesting how much consistency plays a factor in actually being at a higher rating. Because I feel like I had games, earlier on when I was like, a couple 100 points lower than I am now, that were just as good as some of my good games today. But where I've actually improved has mostly been that I just don't make as many mistakes. I don't throw away as many games, and so my highs are still fairly close to the same level of high, but my lows just aren't as low.
So you don't delve into the pits of despair as often anymore.
Well, hopefully.
How do you prepare for a tournament or a tough opponent?
So I guess I'll focus my answer more on how to prepare for a tough opponent, because I think how to prepare for a tournament, I mean, the general answer is that you kind of just have to practice. You have to be a good player to play good games.
Okay, well, what does practice look like for you?
To me, practice is going to be equal parts doing puzzles, playing games, and either studying or going deep into review of my own previous games.
So you said equal parts. So
Yeah.
you can't go heavy on studying without also playing.
Correct. This is actually something I've talked about a lot. That I think there's a lot of or adult improvers who make this mistake where they will love to do different sort of training programs, or they'll love to go through Chessable, go through Master Games, go through all of these different exercises, and then they don't play chess, and it really hurts their ability to improve.
I figured you'd have something to say. That's why I dug a little deeper there. You
Yeah.
said you also want to touch on preparing for a tough opponent.
Preparing for a tough opponent is, it's actually something that club play sort of afforded me the ability to do a lot more, because there's only like a couple of players that are close to my rating, and so it's going to be about kind of like looking through some of their previous games, trying to find what they likely have prepared against my own openings, but also try and look at which variations of a specific opening they're the least comfortable with. I tend to actually focus more so if I'm going to play against a particular opponent, not on sort of improving my own opening, but more so just sort of attacking where I think they're going to be more vulnerable, even if that's a type of position or type of play that I don't usually prefer.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool that you can zero in on those things, or at least try to.
Try to get mixed results.
What advice would you give to someone just starting out in chess?
If you're just starting out, the two things that you have to do the most is you have to play a lot of chess and you have to do a lot of puzzles. Do puzzles on either chess.com or Lichess. Brandon says chess tempo. But do puzzles until you have looked at the board so long that you basically just go cross-eyed and you cannot see straight, and then go take a break and then go do more puzzles. Because when you're first starting out, those tactics, those simple checkmates, those simple forks, spins, and skewers that help you win pieces are going to be the number one thing that defines who's going to win and who's going to lose.
I'll have to agree with you on that one. What's a goal you have for your chess journey this year?
Goal for my chess journey this year? Well, man, I started off with what I thought was a pretty poor rating at the start of the year. And my goal had been to try and get back to my all-time rating high, and then try and start pushing towards 1800. At this point, I'm at time of recording, have a live rating of 1761. So I guess I'm 39 points off from hitting 1800. So I think that's my goal right now, is to try and cross that threshold into being a Class A player.
I want that for you, Sean. We'll get you there.
I believe you will. This club keeps me very sharp.
You have no choice but to be sharp or you're going to get your lumps. Do you have any non-chess hobbies or interests that you would like to share with us?
Any non-chess hobbies and interests? I mean, I'm kind of an all-around nerd. There's some like card games that I used to play. I played like Dungeons and Dragons since I was a kid. Just kind of, honestly, any kind of nerdy hobby that forces people to actually meet in person and get together to play is something I'm going to be drawn towards. I really don't enjoy the trend towards like all digital online gaming. It just feels a little bit less community than if you actually go to a real place and meet real people.
I can respect that. I think you're onto something with that. Is there anything else you would like to share with us?
Anything else I'd like to share with you? I don't know. I guess I'll just kind of shout out some of the places that you can find me. I'm currently doing a development class on Monday. I do private lessons here at the club, and I also am currently working in chess after school programs with Think Move Chess Academy. So if you'd like to learn chess from me, I'm all over the state. Just wherever chess is found, you can find me.
Thank you, Sean.